Hi, and welcome to this first in a series of video workshop demonstrations on using CS Report. In this first video, I'm just going to very briefly talk about what our security reporting requirements are, and then in subsequent videos, we'll actually build and deploy all of our new reports. So, our security administration team require a brand new reporting application. The application should include several reports, some of which are listed here. It's not limited to this list, but here is what we're going to be building as part of this video series. The first report is Dormant Users Report. So here we're simply going to report on all users who've not logged into EBS for, in this case, more than 30 days. You may well find with this kind of report that you've got users that haven't logged in for hundreds or even thousands of days. Chances are these users are not going to be logging in again, and so therefore these users probably should be end dated. Next, we've got a report that shows users linked to a terminated HR record. It's quite common to have active EBS users that are in fact linked to a HR record for a person that is no longer with the company. Again, these kind of users should really be reviewed and end dated if appropriate. Next, we've got a report that shows people who are linked to multiple EBS users. Now, this is a very common type of requirement or reporting requirement in EBS, simply because if you have people who are linked to more than one EBS user record, it can cause issues in various parts of EBS. So having visibility of these users is a good thing in terms of cleaning up the users. Next, we want a simple responsibility assignment report that simply shows all responsibilities and all the users who currently have access to those responsibilities. And finally, a very important report is a report that lists all non-end dated assignments for end dated responsibilities. Now, the reason this is important is, let's say at some point in the future you activate a currently end dated responsibility, then the problem is, a potential problem rather, is that any users who already have that responsibility assigned but not end dated would instantly find that they have access to that responsibility. So it's always a best practice to ensure that any assignments for end dated responsibilities are also end dated. Now, in addition to laying down what our reporting requirements are, there's a few other things that I want to mention. So ideally then, the reporting application should be embedded into EBS. For these kind of operational type reports, it really doesn't make much sense to keep jumping in and out of EBS for the end users to get the information that they need. The reports should be available, if possible, as interactive screen-based reports that the user can interact with in some way to get the data that they need. The reports should also have the option of being Excel-based, for where the user wants to get the data out to Excel. And if all reports can be contained within a custom responsibility, that would be perfect. And also, importantly, we don't have any developers available to build these reports, and IT don't have time to build them anyway. We need these reports yesterday, so these requirements are quite urgent. And if possible, we should use a no-code tool for building these particular reports. CS Report is what we call a no-code tool or low-code. The only code that you really need to have some appreciation of is a little SQL perhaps, but even that's not mandatory. Anyway, in the next video in this series, we'll actually get started on building all these reports.